Hey, everybody, and welcome to the ComaCast. It is May 14th, 2021. We thank all of you for joining us for another episode here. Of course, as always, you can comment on whatever platform you're using, and we can see those comments and we can conversate with you. We love interacting with you. So if you have something you want to talk about, just drop it in, or if you have something to add to the conversation, as always, you can do that as well. Anyway, Matt, it's Friday. How was your week? How are you doing today?
It was good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So when we sound checked, my mic was off. So my computer must have just automatically picked it up. I just noticed it, like, there's no light there in the reflection. Oh, crap. No, it's been good.
That's good.
Some exciting things we're talking about today that Oh, man, Cody.
Did I pick some crazy things?
I knew about all but one of them already, like from my own reading. So Cody and I do read. We tend to read the same things apparently. One of them I did not read. I did not know about before getting our notes today, and I wish I hadn't because I wish I did not know about this, and because I don't want to know about this, not at all, not even a little. And I feel like the way it's gonna line up, I think I'm actually going for that one.
Is Matt going to be shook? I don't even know what topic it would be. Goodness.
Shook, no, just grossed out, and not something I would
Oh,
ever want out here.
um, so yeah, it's been a busy day here. I've been trying to get some projects done around the house. Uh, but I got some of them done. So thankfully that is good. Um, but I'm ready for the weekend. I think we have to go pick up some wine. Are y'all doing anything this weekend or?
No, um, we're working on getting our sleep schedules completely righted again. Unfortunately, so like I was able to fall asleep. Even laying down at midnight, I will lay awake till 4 a.m. Even with melatonin, whatever. And because I'm so trained to sleep from 4 a.m. to noon, it's really hard to push that back. So I
Yeah.
managed to go to sleep around 2, woke up at 8, and was up until about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and then slept from 1 to 4:30 this afternoon. I'm like, this is killing me because I woke up really early. David didn't. So being quiet out of respect, you don't want to wake the other person. That's a scary thing. You know, it's
Yeah.
like the one thing he asked us. We just have this rule with each other. And we just like let the other sleep if we can. Assuming we don't have anywhere to be. And I didn't. So I was like, well, just lay here and read. So I was laying here reading, and of course, uh, yeah, when we got up and got food, I'm like, oh, I'm a little tired. I'm like, let me read a book or play a video game, something to like make my brain go. And that lasted maybe 20 minutes. I'm like, I think I need to put my head down. Boom, gone. Right on the couch. 3.5 hours. Like,
Yeah, Justin's been really sleepy. He hasn't been sleeping very well. The other day he was like waking up at 2 or 3 in the morning, and so he hasn't been able to sleep. And so he got off work today like at 3 and was like, "Oh, I'm tired." And then he kept not. We were like, "Go take a nap. Go take a nap." And then he would just like find something else to do or like say or talk.
yeah, at
And
some
we're
point
like,
you just have to
"Oh,
let, yeah, you have to just go. I got up and I gamed a little bit and started to move around. And I was like, I'm just going to go shower. So I had buzzed my hair off yesterday, like trimmed it down because it grows at all different lengths. Thanks, meds. And I had David like clean up my neckline where I couldn't see. I'm like, this is a good opportunity to just go shower. I'm just gonna shower, wash my face, brush my teeth, just. And then
yeah,
from here, after we're done, we're gonna go get food because I know you guys have the burrito
yeah,
tradition. We will be going to Bill Miller's, and
mm,
I am just in the mood for. I always get an extra side of fries
yeah."
and potato salad. So whatever I get comes with a side of fries. I get a second side of fries, and then I add a potato salad to that. And I don't know why I haven't gotten back into shape yet. It's like Cody, like why? Like why isn't my body doing what I want? Weird.
It's
It's
like
obviously something I'm doing.
it's like what we've talked about recently, my donut diet. I'm just always constantly eating donuts. We actually the other day went on the side of town where there is a Sprinkles cupcakes, and I ended up having to get cupcakes. And then we went to Trader Joe's today, and I got like the only things I got were like sweets, like scones, but they're all like sweet scones or cookies. I'm like, oh my god, this is
Yeah, we
all
went
I'm
to.
getting.
I think it was a couple days after we got the acceptance letter to nursing school. I didn't want to do anything. I just felt this sense of relief from so many. The first year with the podcast, we had to just kind of roll with it. We didn't know what to even adjust or change because we knew our audience was only going to be a certain way for the length of the pandemic. And now that things are going back to normal, there's a new normal. So trying to format around that and plus do things that each of us wanted to do with it and still keep the message of what we wanted, plus write, which takes a lot out of me. I don't know if other people when I sit down to write, the words just come out. I don't have like I rarely encountered writer's block. I've been very fortunate. But it seems like trade-off for that is I just get really fatigued, like after a few hours, just like could go right to sleep. Now once I wake up I can go right back to writing, but it just takes it out of me. And then of course being stressed about nursing school for a month and a half, and we're still waiting to see if David's going to get other offers that he really wants. So it's just, I think it was just being at a 15 out of 10 for a month and a half, and I don't even have classes to go to right now, and I don't have any other like work. So I created this space from January to August that I'm glad I left it open, because we were hoping to be able to travel during that point eventually. And luckily, you know, we've been vaccinated. We're very fortunate and happy about that. But it's just like just staring. So it feels like you're staring at a wall some days with nothing to do but everything to do.
Yeah.
And then of course I finally, most of the side effects of the meds have worn off. They were lying when they said there was no crash, there's no rebound period, because this is awful. This has been an awful experience. And so I was like, I just want to go to Target, get a bunch of junk food, and play video games and watch TV. I don't want to think. I don't want to worry about anything. I don't want to plan the next damn thing. I am done. My brain has stopped. Officially freaking stopped. And I'm not 100% sure if it's come back yet. But
well,
better.
Hopefully it will continue to get better, and y'all's sleep schedule continue to realign and get back to, I guess, somewhat normal. We were also excited because we have somebody who is going to be starting to help like sponsor a few of our episodes, and so that's exciting. Yes.
I don't have his I did message him. I was like, hey, I probably just forgot to click send. But yeah, just a brief on that is a friend of ours. He does, it's like concierge healthcare, where he literally will make a house call to you, and it's his own business. He is a nurse practitioner, and you know, he has a whole website of all the things that you can do, and we have the website. We're just kind of waiting until he gets us the talking points he wants us to hit. But we're really excited because he's also gay. So what we really want to do with sponsorships, or when those opportunities come to us, that when possible, we're choosing our community over anything else. Because if most of you don't know, we have done pretty much all of this voluntarily for 2 years, working on now 2 years, which is, we're happy to do it while we have the time, but it's a lot for you. It's a lot for me. It's a lot of hours we spend on your end. You're actively moving. A lot of the hours on my end are needing to be right in front of you, because you can't sound check my equipment for me. So it's like when something would break, it was just like sit here for 1 to 3 hours and be available. Because the moment I would walk away to get a sandwich, like, hey Matt, I think we got it. Damn it! Like run back upstairs.
Thankfully, we don't have that many technical issues anymore.
Good. Like, 2021, at least tech-wise, has gone so much better.
I think the only issues is that we don't turn our mics on.
Yeah, and that was more of an operator error this time. I don't know who that was.
Last week I was talking, and Matt was like, I can't hear you. And then I was like, oh yeah, I didn't. Everything else was set up on the computer, because there's a ton of inputs and things you have to have clicked, but I just didn't have the button clicked on the mic itself.
Well, and you have to reset almost every time. You know.
Yeah, I don't have a dedicated space,
so like plug my mic in.
Yeah,
that's it. Now my Pro was a lot more touchy. The internet would drop and everything would go wrong with it, because it's really old now, and this one, the Air, has treated us much better, because we couldn't tell. We would have no way of knowing if it was my problem or your problem. Right. I have a feeling that we were about 50-50 last year.
Yeah, that's the thing when people want to. First of all, people who do start podcasts, they tend to. When you look at the numbers, people don't usually make it past the first few months in doing a podcast, because it is a lot of work, and so you you tend to see people drop off like after a month or two, as far as doing a podcast. But then it is technical. There's a lot of technical to it.
Yeah, and there's this benefit of like you do the editing, and I we think very differently, which is really good because we never really get caught in a loop of doing the same thing, because one of us will come to the other and say, okay, I don't feel like this is working. How can we tweak this? And we very rarely like tear things apart. It's more of like just little adjustments to keep it fresh, because nobody wants to log in and see and hear the exact same thing 2, 3, 4 times a week, depending on which thing we're working on, whether it's a podcast episode or one of the lives. So, we come up with material for each other, and I rarely see everything Cody's coming up with ahead of time. So my reactions to things are quite genuine. Um, which, if you know me in real life, you know that I don't bother. I don't fake it.
Chris is saying Matt and Cody in person live soon. Yes, hopefully soon.
Hopefully. Oh my gosh, finally. Yeah, we can actually do it now, because
and live and soon. Yes.
And live. Yeah, we can actually do this in person. I actually mentioned that today on my Twitter. We hit 3,000 plays on our podcast, which the lives do not count towards that. That only our episodes count towards that. The lives just get recorded and put on YouTube, and we don't make anything off that either. But so we hit 3,000 plays for yesterday, you said.
Yeah.
And I check it 2 or 3 times a week. So I guess when you checked it, it was right when it must have clicked over, because I was so excited. So as I said, this is something that it is hard to come up with new stuff regularly, especially if you're one person trying to do this weekly. And the more successful ones put out things 2 or 3 times a week. Plus, it takes a year or two to kind of get going, get your footing. Things go wrong. Technology changes. Technology breaks. You break. Cody and I make room for each other's issues and lives. And, and for never have met in person, like, we coordinate all of this. So on the days that it seems really tiring, it's like, it's okay. We are doing okay. We are fine.
Well, we appreciate everybody who listens to the podcast or watches any of our live shows or watches the YouTube videos. Our YouTube numbers are going up, so we thank you, because we appreciate that you may be listening and watching, which is exciting because it literally is the same thing.
Yeah.
And we thank any of you who've been sharing our podcast, because just in April, our numbers have gone up and we're trending upward. So that's exciting that you're enjoying what we're putting out, and that hopefully you are sharing.
Right,
and if you are,
no
thank
way
you.
of knowing unless somebody says something. So
I guess you would stop watching, everybody, if you just were like over
I
us.
To people about it, and people talk to me about it. I don't know if people talk what your interactions with your mutuals, because Cody and I share mutuals, but we have different relationships with our mutuals. And then so when I hear things or I ask them, like, well, what did you think of that? I take that feedback into account, and I think about it and think on it and think, well, from that perspective, how, because I'm a pretty detached person, so a lot doesn't really bother me, and it doesn't take a lot to make me happy. Cody's like, that is not true.
I am excited, though. We hopefully will get to meet each other this year, actually, in person.
Yeah, it's funny. I was about to be like, oh, the train's leaving the station. You're like, we're going to meet each other. I'm like, and the train's arriving in the station. That just really set itself up. Look at us go.
It did. Yeah, I'm hoping this summer, hopefully. The thing is, time goes by so quickly. Like, there's already things that are scheduled,
I mean, it's mid-May, and I start school in August, so that's going to cut out from August to December. It will be a no-go for me, unless like he's here on the weekend, or I go visit him on the weekend. So because classes and clinicals are going to take up a lot of my time. So,
but it's exciting because
it is super exciting.
You got into nursing school.
Yay! I'm going to be a nurse, and I'm going to get another science degree for people to tell me I don't know what I'm talking about. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
One thing that's exciting, and then goes to the whole point of us being able to travel more, is that they announced this week, the CDC, if you're vaccinated, you don't have to wear a mask. They do recommend, if you have like a pre-existing condition or some kind of illness, that you get in contact with your primary care physician and just have a discussion about this. But that's pretty exciting. It shows the power of vaccines and how vaccines really actually do work. I know we've talked many times here on this podcast about people saying that, or not y'all saying, but that people in general are like, questioning the usefulness of vaccines. But as you can see, they released a map, and fully vaccinated people is on the right, and it's all green. It's a go for everything. Basically, go hang out with your friends, meet your friends, travel, have a hot girl summer, I guess. But
Well,
so that's exciting. I know that there is some I don't want to say controversy, but there is just like some questioning of it because you're saying everybody can now not wear a mask, and then people who haven't been vaccinated will just not wear a mask,
yeah,
and that's
probably.
true. I know in California, masks are still mandated. You must still wear a mask until like the middle of June, and then at that point, it'll be okay in California, and that's fine with me. I was just
I've
hoping
been
that we would have.
enjoying wearing a mask. I mean,
This is going to sound horrible, but I love eating Oreos, and anybody who's ever eaten Oreos knows they get all in your teeth. I don't have to worry. I can eat an Oreo and then just put my mask on and go in and not have to worry about anything being in my teeth. I do know a lot of people who got some cute masks and they're like, we're going to keep wearing the masks. Um, yeah, I think for me personally, like if I'm going to be in like super, super large crowds, or like say I go to Disney, while I'm in line, I might wear a mask or something like that. And I think I'm going to start doing this going forward, just for like cold and flu season. I think that'll be good. Um, so yeah, I thought that was exciting and a big breaking news as far as health world is concerned. That vaccines do work.
for
Um,
real. And if you
I'm
don't think they do, why the fuck are you watching us? Because holy crap, I'm just going to continue to be disrespectful to you because I think you're dumb. Like,
Keith said, I was saying to Matt that I'm apprehensive about not wearing a mask, even though I've been fully vaccinated. Yeah,
I've
same
avoided
here.
colds and everything this year, and I'm like,
I
wow.
know.
I rarely get. Well, in the last two, since we've been in San Antonio, after the first year, I don't really get colds or the flu or anything, but even less so this year. And I'm like, well, this has been nice, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think again that's why I feel like hopefully anybody who's like us, or I guess smart people, um, will continue wearing your mask, like especially during cold and flu season, when you're in large groups. Just and the thing is, you can have masks that match your outfits. It just can be a new accessory to add, which is a good thing. I had mentioned this to Matt earlier in the week, but there's like a group of people, I guess, anti-maskers and anti-vaccine people who believe that if you're vaccinated, you're shedding something which causes, I guess, women to. I guess it only affects women too. I'm not sure why nothing affects the men, but apparently you shed something and it causes women to have infertility issues, menstruation issues, miscarriages, and whatever. And so in these anti-vaxxers and anti-masking groups, they're very concerned about this. And supposedly they may begrudgingly accept that they may have to start doing social distancing, and for this foreseeable future apparently have to wear masks. They say this is what they say, I guess. Some conspiracy theorists are wondering if perhaps their longtime bane, the mask, could become their salvation. One perplexed poster on the fringe site 4chan asked their fellow Anons if they should, quote, wear a mask around the vaccinated because they shed the mRNA stuff.
Right. Ask any of them if they know what mRNA stands for. Like that is just not how it works. And I'm
It's
like,
this.
this would be literally taught in a high school general biology class, like ninth grade. This is ninth grade biology basics. That's it. Like you could teach a 14-year-old this. This is why kids the kids don't know what they're talking about. If they're paying attention in biology, yeah, they absolutely do. They can literally Google it. You and I did not have that option. We could not pull out our phones and contest our families when they said stupid bullshit. Now we're like, no, no, you're wrong. And, Gen Z's going to have a rough time of it. Um,
Yeah,
it's
it's excuse me. It's I think it's crazy. First of all, there's multiple things to this. First of all, it's just stupid, but like, okay, yeah, wear your mask from now on because they believe it's stuck in us now. It's part of our. They say it's our DNA because we've changed our DNA. So go ahead, wear that mask for the rest of your life because I
Yeah,
think that would be great. I don't just see your face or
right.
anything.
I don't want to see your dumb ass. That's fine. And I promise we're not missing anything. And I don't like to judge on this, but there is a very specific, well, for the conservative women that tend to wear these things, there's a very specific hair and makeup routine that I would be grateful not to have to ever see again. And for guys, there's a very specific uh, not routine that you generally see that I would be grateful to never have to hear and or smell their breath ever again. So that would just be fucking great. Like, I don't know what it is, but they do. I'm not saying correlation equals causation, but there just seems to, they seem to birds of feather and all that. Um,
Chris
Speaking of
says
weird
I'm not
outfits,
mad about wearing a mask. So yeah, I'm not mad.
right? It doesn't bother me at all. Like I saw, it's like, oh, you need permission to live your life. I'm like, have you not been? Like I have not at any point been in like fear. I've been concerned that people that got it were going to die, and I'm very very aware that if I caught a severe case of it, like I probably would not fare too well or just die from it. But I mean, I'm also a driver in Texas. I could literally die pulling out onto our highway out by our house. So, um,
Keith said I like my cheesy Texas flag mask. Plus, I don't have to shave.
um, well, I don't. There's no segue I can think of for this one, so I'm just gonna go with this. So, God, this is the one, Cody. By the way,
Is it?
and I don't even know why. When you ask me, like, well, which one? I'm like, is it looking at all of these? Which one do you think? OnlyFans star to live stream birth for $12,000. Okay, well that's uncomfortable. Already has offers for her breast milk. Really? A pregnant OnlyFans creator is offering subscribers a live stream of herself giving birth for about $12,000 after receiving a request for the stream and noticing an uptick in her earnings since announcing her pregnancy. Now, it is childbirth is horrifying and fascinating and like magical all at the same time. It's a lot of things, and a lot of people actually do record the births. Don't That is not the issue here. I'm just like, wow, times are changing. So after this, I'm gonna go stand on my front yard and yell at some kids or something because, um, holy shit, guys. Uh, that creator, 39-year-old Carla Bellucci, told the Daily Star that she's also received requests for her breast milk. Some believe that there could be a rise of this type of content now that more people are aware of the demand for it, and now that a site like OnlyFans exists to help facilitate it. Now, let's also talk about it scientifically for a second. A lot of people watch this. A lot of people record it. I used to work for Apple, and we did data transfers for people, and you have to sit and stare at the computer while everything's transferring. Now, it's running at a million miles an hour. You're not stopping anything. It's just whatever the images are, you're just sitting there making sure it doesn't stop or something doesn't need saved or whatever. And I have absolutely been unfortunately in the room for that. And it's like, well, great. But it's real. And I think a lot of people are fascinated by it, because they don't really understand how it works and they don't really understand what women go through during pregnancy. I mean, I can only tell you based on a book. I have a dick and no vagina and no baby making parts. Well, that end of them. So I can't tell you what it feels like, but I can tell you what I've seen and
I
what
can't.
women write about. So it could be used for so many different methods. I just really hope it's not. I just hope it's not a fetish. But here we go. I'm not kink shaming. I just there's just even I have limits of things I don't want to read.
$12,000. I've always said that anyone will pay for anything. There's a whole thing
Oh yeah,
when
there's like 8
people.
billion people in this world. All you
Uh,
need is a fraction of a percent to be interested in the thing you're interested in, and your ship just came in.
sorry, everybody. We can't give birth, so can't live stream that one. So we'll see. We'll see if she gets the money. I
But we
don't
can
know.
live stream trying.
Oh dear, that'd be fun. Yeah, OnlyFans, everybody. I guess that's where it's at. Apparently, you can see or watch anything. I obviously has something to do with her personally, I believe, because I think you can just like Google birth video and you can probably already just find one. So I don't know why you would need to pay
Yeah,
anything, but
I
I
have
guess people
no idea.
do what they want with it, you know. I mean, there are, yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot to that one. This one I had not heard of, and it really came. There was actually a New York Times article that was talking
Ugh,
about this, and
I
I
can't believe
literally
it's
didn't.
worthy.
I didn't
Not for
even know.
us, but I mean in general.
Yeah, I didn't even know it was. I hadn't even heard it or read it. Um, and Gabe and Justin both mentioned this morning, and I was like, "What?"
How
And they,
so? How do you not know about this? Like,
I did, I literally didn't. And
you
you
are
want to
so
know?
much more into media than any of the other of us.
I'm surprised I didn't because it really, I think, kind of got into prominence in the last few weeks or so because it was on the Drew Barrymore show, and Drew Barrymore talked about it, and I love Drew Barrymore and watch her show and everything, but I guess it's chuggy. I don't know. Are you chuggy? Now, apparently, it's been defined as a quote out of date or trying too hard, according to the New York Times style analysis, and quickly swept social media. Now, its cousins include the words basic or passe. So apparently, chuggy. If you're trying too hard or you're out of date, you're chuggy. So I guess eventually we will become chuggy. We will be too out of date or be trying too hard at something, I guess, according to Gen Z. I think they're the ones
Well,
who created this word.
I
Um,
mean, every generation does it, so the one behind them will probably just,
but
embarrass them too.
chuggy?
So,
I guess basic is too out of date. I guess that's why they created a new word. You can't say basic anymore. I don't know if I would be chuggy right now. Maybe eventually, but I am pretty basic. So I don't know. I mean, what is it in the
where are you
fall?
gonna put me in this position?
I have my pumpkin spice latte and my sweaters, and yeah, okay, fine. I'm chuggy, I guess. I'm chuggy. Okay,
um,
we this was yeah. There was an issue in San Antonio a while back with a wild animal, I think,
yeah,
and Matt. Now it's in Houston.
yeah. I'm like, what in the Tiger King nonsense is this? So there was a tiger that startled a West neighborhood, a West Houston neighborhood, and it's actually still missing.
It's
And it's
missing
not
still.
funny, but like, because this is serious. This tiger is not likely to face a good fate unless like handlers find it first. Um, but oh crap, like this isn't. Like,
Yeah, this
I,
was a video that they
so do you want
shot.
to show the video? So do you want me
Yeah,
to talk about it first, or do you want to show the video first?
let's show the video real quick. So if you haven't seen it, again, there was a tiger, Houston, and this is kind of the scene that happened. Some neighbors. It's literally in a neighborhood. This is what happened. Just run street there, and the guy with gun over here on the right. It's a police officer.
No. Tiger, get the fuck back inside now.
Just hanging out.
Get the fuck back inside. I don't know who the fuck this is. Get the fuck back inside.
And then there's going to be, and this is a nice neighborhood, as you can tell. And then this is the guy. This guy gives the tiger a kiss, and then just goes back in the house with the tiger.
This is just such an ugly situation building up. So, a man linked to the tiger, which was last seen on Sunday, was released from jail on Wednesday after being charged with evading arrest.
Tiger in the neighborhood?
And is it on Sunday? The tiger was seen sprawled on the lawn of a home on Ivywell Drive in West Houston,
Why
which
would
is
he
what.
even be here?
And yeah,
Just
here we are
laying there.
together. It then walked into the street, startling onlookers and prompting an off-duty sheriff's deputy who lives in the neighborhood to draw his handgun. Oh my God, what a shock! A man later identified as Mr. Cuevas then came out to corral the tiger. A video shows him kissing the animal as he leads it away. I mean, oh God, why? So there was a tiger enclosure down the street from, so where I lived in Fort Myers, Florida. I lived off a small road, and then down. So if you turn right, you turn into my neighborhood. If you turn left, you went down a dirt road, and there was a guy that had a leopard. I believe he was found half eaten because he forgot to feed it. And let's remember that these are predators. And if you activate their prey instinct, or their predator-prey instinct, and they are hungry, I mean, there's lots of things that could have gone wrong here. It did not go well for that guy, and luckily, you know, this is okay. I mean, nobody was hurt during this. I mean, holy, but here we are.
You got to think about it. Like, if you watch our podcast any bit, you know, Salem makes an appearance sometimes, and he like bites me, and he's just playing. But even the tiger, even if it wasn't being mean or aggressive or anything, just being playful could hurt someone or kill somebody.
A playful swipe from a tiger could decapitate a child. You know, like a gash open a human. You know.
Chris said the next episode of the Tiger King. Yeah,
the budget really got cut this season, huh?
Well, so I did some more researching just a minute ago before we came on, and just so everybody knows that the bizarre case of the tiger on the loose is not over. As Matt said, the tiger is still missing, but the man that was arrested for the incident, Mr. Cuevas, denies being the owner of the tiger. So the one that kissed the tiger, he denies that he's the owner. No one knows where the tiger is. By the way, Cuevas, I think this goes down the line of our Tiger King. If you watch Tiger King and you know the story of all the people involved, Cuevas bonded out of his most recent arrest after previously being out on bond for $50,000 bond. So this is the second time out. He was on the $50,000 bond already from neighboring Fort Bend County on, ready for it, a murder charge. So, yeah, it's full out Tiger King.
Oh, wow. Wow, season 2 is really, like, I guess, same format, I guess they're going for.
Yeah. Cuevas apparently drove off with the tiger in a vehicle, and then
I saw that video.
So I don't know again where he took it or whatever. Obviously, in Texas you can have tigers like this, but you're not supposed to have them in neighborhoods or because city ordinance issues. But yeah, that is one thing that Carol Baskin has been wanting to try to do. She was in Tiger King. If you haven't seen that, she is someone who's pushing for elimination of wild animals like this, or tigers specifically, and leopards and that kind of thing from being in people's possessions. That you would need to be some kind of facility, zoo, etc., to have a wild animal of this sort. And I think that is completely the right thing, because most of the people who do have animals like this are not, I guess, the smartest people, and they're usually involved in some kind of like drugs or other kind of that whole world. And so they don't have the most secure facilities for these animals to begin with, nor do they take care of them that well. I actually have heard that I think Netflix is working on a new Tiger King, but it's not going to be Tiger King. It's going to be called Lizard King, I believe. And it's because there's apparently, there's a big trade there's a big trade for a large iguana lizard type things.
Yeah, I can tell you a Komodo dragon is not something you want to mess with. Nope. I'm not sure if I would choose the Komodo dragon or the tiger. Like, if I had to choose to be in a cage with one or the other, I don't know which would be worse.
Yeah,
the tiger would probably be a quicker death, at least. The Komodo dragon would probably hurt a lot.
Oh yeah.
I saw myself.
I saw this on The Onion, but Houston authorities are scrambling right now, Matt, because the tiger that is missing, he's gone missing in a crowd of tigers. Just just in the Houston neighborhood. So, like, again, it was a very rich neighborhood, a very wealthy neighborhood of Houston that this occurred in. So you never know. Most people might think it might be like not the nicest area where this would happen. Nope, nicest area.
Chris says, "Can I offer my sister-in-law for that show? She can't stand the itty bitty lizards here on the island. Oh, Florida are tiny. Oh my goodness, she's in the wrong part of the country."
Oh, I love lizards.
That surprises me.
I love all animals. Our yard is full of lizards. Like we have so many hiding places now, and like everything has been growing and everything has built up for a great environment for lizards. And so we'll just see them out here like in the sun bathing, or like sometimes they'll do like push-ups. It's the cutest thing. Speaking of cats, this one was I have to give props to Gabe.
A lot of cat stuff today.
I know.
Are you sure you want to put this video up? Like,
it's so disturbing. The cat is fine. I need to point this out before we play it. The cat is fine. Gabe sent this to me. And there was a cat that jumped from a 5th floor in a burning Chicago building. He bounces once and then runs away. And I will have to say, if you've watched any kind of video, again, I'm like a geek and I watch videos like this, but the science behind cats and like the ability for them to always land on their feet is quite amazing. And it all stems from their tail. So when you watch this video, you got to watch the tail because the tail is constantly spinning. But the high rise was on a building. The apartment was on a building. The fire department was filming, I guess, for some reason. I'm not sure. I guess, who knows? And as they were doing this, they noticed that a black cat appeared from the smoke at a broken window. And the cat briefly tested the side of the building with his front paws. As always, if you have a cat or know anything about a cat, they'll do that. And then onlookers gasped as the cat fell, but it missed the wall, landed on its 4 paws, bounced on the grass, and
was it somebody's pet or is it a stray that was in the building?
I think it. I don't know. I haven't heard actually, and so
I did see it. I didn't see if anybody claimed it, so I wondered if you knew yet.
Yeah. So here it is, everybody. And then, so he's hanging out the window there. And then watch the tail. It's spinning around all 4 feet. And then, boop, boop. And he's like, okay, I'm hungry. But again, the cat was fine.
Probably scared senseless. I mean, geez.
They did say it got underneath the car that it was right by for a few minutes to just like decompress a bit.
To collect itself? Like, oh my God.
I always get upset at Ella because I've sent Matt a video of this. We have a glass shower wall, but at the top there's like a 1.5 feet between the shower wall and the ceiling. She will literally jump up on that. The ledge is like an inch or less, the glass wall, and she like walks across that like no issues. And I'm like, girl, you are gonna fall. First of all, you're gaining weight, you're getting old. You don't need
5.
She's still getting old. Older. She's not her spry young.
She's gonna hear you and shit in your bed. I want to let you know. Have you ever owned a cat before? Is Ella your first cat?
Yeah, Ella's my first cat.
Oh my God.
That's why I'm crazy, Matt.
Oh my God, that's why you're insane. Okay, that makes a lot more sense. Don't worry. By the time Salem's 5, you're gonna be like, you're fine. And just
I mean, yeah. So, that cat going 5 stories.
Things. Like, I don't let them on things because I don't want them to get scared and knocked off of them, or to knock the thing over and break it. There are things they are allowed on, like that's why we bought them a cat tower. That's for them to climb on. But no, 5 years old is not old in kitty cat years. That is still pretty spry.
Well, she does have the weight now, though.
Luna is like 18.5 pounds. I know.
Ella's 12. We're trying to get it down.
To be. That's normal.
Well, they say 10. They told us 10. They like she's overweight. I'm like,
what do you feed her? You know what?
So,
I don't know the answer to that.
She was actually good. But then we got this whole period of time where she had her urinary issues, and then we swapped foods, and then so it's been readjusting to that food. And of course, this past week she decided, oh, I don't want to eat the pate anymore. I only want morsels or like a stew kind of thing. And so
I'm
it's
gonna
been a
need your cat. I need Ella to not do these things because it really gives us a lot of stress.
it was a back and forth to the
I would
vet.
really like to get a night's sleep when
I
Ella
got
does
new
this.
prescriptions. And then come to find out that they only sell the food that she's eating. She won't eat the other. The only food she'll eat is the most expensive because they only make it in little cans, which is dumb. I don't know why you don't make this in a big can. It's made in big cans from other brands. First of all, I hate this cat prescription monopoly situation. And if I ever had a lot of money, I would go after these companies because they are just horrible. And
Well,
also,
when we're
the
famous
product is
podcasters,
horrible.
we can use our big gay platform to advocate for
Cats.
cat food.
Yeah. Chris, let's see. Chris says, I've never had a cat, but I've seen videos of the crazy things cats can do. Yep.
They're all true.
And then
It
Keith,
happens like
poor Cody,
daily.
you will learn that you live in their lives. She's a princess. She knows it. And she's like,
Oh, he has had Ella since she was like a tiny little fluff. Like she was literally a little fluff. Um, so she is the baby, and uh, sometimes he'll tell me things. You're like this crazy thing, and I'm like, Cody, that is very normal. And you're like, no, it's, and I know you don't believe me. That's the worst part. Like, I'll read the text message out loud. David doesn't even look up anymore. He's like, he doesn't believe you, does he? I'm like, no. Like, I know he doesn't. But this is not my first cat. We had cats growing up. I was very close to them. I took the family. My grandparents insisted I take care of their food and water because I needed to be invested in their health and lives too. So I grew up from like 10 to now. I have always had either between the family cats or my own. And mine. I had mine for for like well over a decade, and others that I cared for intermittently during these times. And you learn it's like probably about the 5th or 6th year, you start learning like, okay, this is normal stuff. That's like age related shifts and changes. And then something happens that's like, oh, that is concerning. Okay, that is a worry. Then, the other one is wait if it's not corrected in 48 hours, then you call the vet, Chris, Chase is a pup and he just turned 13, but he owns me on what food he will eat. And he changes his mind every single day. I knew Chris when he got Chase and he brought him over to mine and my ex-husband's apartment, like back in Orlando. And he brought over this most adorable little puppy with these huge bat ears. And I have the picture somewhere. It might be on my old phone, but it was my contact picture for Chris until probably this year, like until 2020.
Yeah, I mean, I feel
it's
like
the cutest thing ever.
if you love animals and they're in your life, basically they rule your life. Everything centers around
Ava
them.
and Luna, like, pretty much rule our lives.
You know what's my dream, Matt?
What I'm about to read?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is Cody's dream. 1,000 feral cats were released onto Chicago streets to tackle a rat explosion. I'm not convinced that these weren't somehow all your cats and you're lending to the city of Chicago. So the Windy City has ranked #1 on Pest Control Company Orin's list of the rattiest cities in the U.S. for 6 consecutive years. In an effort to rein in the explosion of rodents, the Treehouse Humane Society kicked off a program to release feral felines into areas experiencing these rat problems. After humanely capturing the feral cats, the Humane Society spays or neuters the animals and places them into residential and commercial settings with rodent infestations to act as an environmentally friendly rodent control. The Treehouse Humane Society says only rescue cats who cannot thrive in a home or shelter environment or cannot be reintegrated into their former colonies are used for the Cats at Work program. So that is an important detail. Will any of our cats, if we let them out, probably function a lot better than we think they could? Yes, because they have instincts, they will kick back in. Feral cats, if they're found as kittens, you can tame them and love them, they become family kitty cats. If they go too long without human interaction, they might become friendly enough to let you like pet them or maybe give them food or have a little bit of interaction, but they will never ever fit comfortably into a home with other pets, kids, things like that. And sometimes it cannot even go back to their colony where they lived. They'll be rejected. It's kind of like if you handle the kittens of a stray cat, sometimes the mother will reject them after because for whatever reason. You don't know. So by them doing this, these are cats that will otherwise have no purpose, and so so they're trying to put them out in, to put them to work. Another side issue that is likely that I foresee cropping up here is cats are incredibly, when they decide, like, say somebody's back garden is their back garden, they will keep it cat and rodent free. That also includes birds, by the way. So yeah, birds tend to go missing in areas. You'll hear a lot about cats being overpopulating areas, and then there will be no birds, and it messes up the ecosystem of the area. But that's why a lot of times, even if they can't be reintegrated, they're not going to be somebody's pet, or they're not thriving, they'll still be fixed and sent back out, because the average outdoor cat, indoor, outdoor, or even outdoor cat, their average lifespan is like 5 or 6 years. Whether it's disease, illness, hit by car, predators, they can still be grabbed. Keith's cat, whose name is Kitty, he's an adorable orange fluff ball. He looks like the male version of Ella. He got grabbed by a bird.
My.
Like, Keith sent us the pictures, and he was punctured. He had the claw. I mean, you can literally just see where they grabbed him. He almost died from it. I mean, Keith took him to the vet, and they were like, oh, he is going to die if you don't fix him. So this happens, and these are things that when you release cats into neighborhoods, this is going to happen. I mean, hopefully people are friendly to the cats as well, because sometimes these cats, kids don't know not to grab the kitty. People do mean things to animals for some reason. They just do torturous, horrible things. So, I mean, I have some concerns for the safety and welfare of the cats and the humans here. But it's a fascinating story.
Yeah, that's my dream. One day we'll have land, and I'm just going to have tons of barn cats taking care of my property and keeping those rats and mice out. I do know before we adopted Salem into the house, he was an outdoor cat, and he just came to start visiting our house, and then he did that for about a year until we finally let him in. And we have video of him. He used to he would hunt rats and mice, because there's a lot of them out here in San Diego, and we would see them sometimes dead. And I have pictures of Salem. Actually, one day we were out in the yard working, and Salem was out there, and he liked to always just hang out in the yard when we were there. But there's pictures of him, and he's playing with this mouse. And I sat there and watched him for like 30 minutes. Like, he was just like, let the mouse go, and the mouse would run, and then he'd catch the mouse again. And it was just this game of catch and let go, catch and let go. And he like tossed him around.
Grabbed the mouse in front of David once. Yeah. I guess it was out in front of my house in Pennsylvania, and he was walking her through the front yard, and leash and everything. And he goes, I saw a quick movement, and Cammy snatched up the mouse, and he, freaked out because he didn't know what she had grabbed. And he's like, if you've ever heard a mouse scream, he had that day. Cammy dropped the mouse, and the poor thing, like, literally died of fright.
Oh my gosh, poor thing.
The poor little mouse was so scared. Poor little thing died of fright. And so David had texted me, and when I got home, by the time I got home hours later, because I was an hour away at work, it had already been eaten and carried off.
Yeah.
Like, all that was left was a tuft of fur. I'm like, oh.
I know Salem also would catch birds. He would sit below the bird feeder, and we saw him catch 2 birds one time. But now he can't catch any birds. He's inside, and he just has to deal with it. And then Sophie, she doesn't really mess with the bird. She comes and eats and then leaves. She's like, there people give me food. Keith says, I have a king size bed and get about 6 inches of it. Kitty somehow takes up the rest. Yep, Ella does the same. And then Chris was coming towards Keith, saying Chase has an agreement on which side of the bed. So yeah, animals just take over. It's just like,
I just put myself where I want to. I put myself where I want to be. If they want to sleep on the bed, they will sleep on the bed.
Yeah.
Ava sleeps on me. Like, literally, she'll sleep on my chest or my stomach for a few minutes. She'll stand there, and then she'll snuggle down between David and I. She is very insistent. This morning, I got the fright of my life because I woke up at 8 o'clock or so, and David was sleeping on his side in some really weird position. He was sleeping as if he was curled up to me, but I hadn't been curled up to him in a while this morning because I was really warm. And I hear like a stir, and I'm like, is he okay? Like, I was like his arm started moving really weird under the blanket, like twitching, and I'm like, what the hell is wrong with him? Luna comes popping up out of the blankets. I didn't even know she was there. So she comes like she likes to sleep under the covers for an hour or two, and she'll sleep
Yeah.
there, and then she just kind of surfaced like the freaking Loch Ness monster, and she
Oh
went.
goodness. Oh, cats, dogs, animals. I saw this also earlier this week, Matt, and I don't know. First of all, I'm going to post the photo up so everyone can see it. Um, so the New York Post was mocked online for saying Leonardo DiCaprio looks unrecognizable in new film. They posted this, saying with a headline, Leonardo DiCaprio unrecognizable in first photos of new Scorsese film. Yeah, because I'm just so confused on which one is Leonardo DiCaprio. I like clearly he's recognizable. I'm like, what are you talking about, people? I'm like, whoever that author was, it's like, did you actually even look at the photo? Like, if it was the woman, if that was actually Leonardo DiCaprio, okay, totally unrecognizable. No, it just looks like an older Leonardo DiCaprio. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
was
don't
just
understand.
and again, they were mocked online. If you looked on Twitter at anything involving Leonardo DiCaprio this week, that is all you saw. And there was tons of memes and people having hilarious responses towards the New York Post.
Like it looks
I
just
don't.
like him.
Yeah, it's like again,
I mean,
I
until we
look
find out that he's the woman or the salt shaker.
right because I only saw the headline. It popped up as a headline as like a notification. I was like, oh, let's look at this photo, because like Hollywood magic and makeup. Let's see, because some actors in recent movies they do like a tremendous job, and you don't even know it's that person. This
Right.
one,
It literally looks like him from like even from the when he did that movie Shutter Island.
yeah, like they didn't even add anything. It's just him. Like I don't.
And also, I mean, people do get older.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is a stupid article that was meant for clicks, but then to what end? There is no end. There's no story. It was for nothing.
It was probably
Uh,
solely to get because shitty publicity is still publicity.
but anyway, I guess that's a new Scorsese film. It's going to be coming out on Apple TV. So that'd be exciting. So as always, we come to the end of the show here. We talk about hang on real quick. Chris says, OMG, I was just watching Wolf of Wall Street, and yeah, he's a little chunky on that picture, but it's obviously him. Yeah. I know. It's just like, I'd love to ask the author of that article, like, wait, so what, like, did you not recognize him? Which means maybe you haven't seen a movie in a long time since maybe like his Titanic.
And even
then
then,
maybe, but
yeah,
it's, yeah.
when which was like 25 years ago or something like that.
Anyway, as always, if we come to the end of the show here, we talk about things that we're loving or things that has us talking. I was trying to think this week, what has me talking? What do I love? And I was having a hard time coming up with something. But I guess the one thing that I'm looking forward to coming out today, because I do love Disney. And growing up, I loved High School Musical. And so there's a show on Disney Plus called High School Musical. High School Musical, the musical, the series, or something. High School Musical, the series, the musical. I don't know.
This is not
Something.
what I thought you were gonna say.
Really? Yeah, it's a long name. High School Musical, the musical, the series. Whew, it's a long one. Anyway, the first season came out last year, and now the second season comes out today. It's a fun show. It's nothing incredibly insightful or anything like that, but I love musical kind of things, and it's a fun, just like nod to High School Musical that I always just loved growing up. So that's what I'm going to be watching tonight. We also started another show, and I went blank on what it is. It's on HBO Max. Let me look it up real quick. I was not prepared for that. It just popped into my head. We actually just started it last night. And it has one of the girls in it from Designing Women. I looked that up. Chris says, Cody, Generation, I binged in one day. I'm now obsessed. Oh my God, right? It's so good. It's so good. I'm glad that you you enjoyed it. It is definitely a show that you can sit through and you want to find out. Like I'm ready for that back half of uh season 1 to come out. But that comes out like in about 40 days, I think. But anyway, High School Musical, the series, is what I am looking forward to, or that I am loving. How about you, Matt?
Well, I thought you were going to talk about how I think starting next week, Universal Orlando is not requiring masks anymore, which means Disney is likely to follow suit.
Oh my God,
So,
I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this.
see,
Breaking news.
I mean, it wouldn't be a Friday Live without some Disney and some cats. What has me talking this week? I've slept a lot this week. A lot. Very unusual for me. I'm probably in a 24-hour period, probably averaging 10 to 11 hours.
Oh
Which
wow,
is
that's a lot for
super,
you.
super unusual. I feel great though. My skin feels great. Like I was looking in the mirror earlier and I was like, oh, okay, well I can do this. What has me talking? I guess this I don't like to rely on my book, but that's like when we're not podcasting, that's kind of like what I do. That or play a video game. Because I just right now don't have a lot to do. I guess the thing that really has me talking is Clint's podcast, the Auto Riff. I got to so during bi-monthly he does like historical stuff about cars, but on the off weeks, like every other week, he has me on now, which we got to record the first episode of that. I got to co-anchor with him one of his main episodes, but he wants to do kind of like an offshoot, like off weeks where it's us doing like a car related topic and for a conversational piece, and it's really fun. It's something we used to do when we were kids. We would sit on after school. We would stop by KFC, get food, and sit on the tailgate and like kind of just decompress from like the week before, because we both worked and stuff like that. So it was kind of like that 10 minutes to just hang out with your friend before having to run off to the next thing you had to do. So I think officially calls it the tailgate. But for example, like this one was you can have one engine and one chassis from another maker. You can borrow it from them. You have enough money to buy it, and you have to build a concept car. What are you going to build? And it can't just be like a sports car, because that's not going to sell and get your business off the ground. Like, so he was like, I would choose a small SUV for this reason that could do this, this, and this. I think this would appeal to the most people to get me going. And then, then we each kind of went back and forth, and then it just expanded, because that's just things I like to talk about too. And
well,
like,
that's
Cody's like, what the hell? I've never heard you talk about cars.
I know, right? Well, if you've been listening to the podcast, I feel like you've never mentioned cars except most recently when you recorded last week with him. I guess you'll post links to whatever on Twitter so that people
I
can check
think
that
most
out.
people don't know that aside from, there's a reason I was really excited to become the claims adjuster, because cars are like my hobby. Medical is like my passion, and cars are my hobby. So my whole life was cars for a long time, and Chris can attest to that. Chris was a frequent visitor to my house with his car back in our days. And Chris said he listened to it. I thought it was hilarious how many bleeps he had to put in. I counted 4 when I listened. He's like, I am keeping that family-friendly rating, damn it.
I know, that's right. You were telling me that he was bleeping you out.
It was really funny.
I did not bleep Matt out yet. Should I do it, everybody? I feel like, honestly, I feel like when you have to do it, obviously, in some respects, because to keep certain ratings on different things.
Right, absolutely.
But at the same time, I feel like the bleeping actually draws more attention to the word than if you didn't do anything. I feel like,
well, and because it comes out of
is...
nowhere, I don't drop a swear every sentence. So it just, I rarely just start screaming swear words. It just kind of comes out, and I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
Yeah, y'all can't see it, but I have a auto caption on my computer. So like as we are currently talking, even when we're not recording, if it's just me and Matt talking, it's auto captioning at the bottom of my screen. And so usually when we're not recording or we're not live, Matt will be talking and then he'll like say something, and the captioning will dictate that, oh, that's a cuss word, and it will like star it out. It won't even like write it out.
We should do a
Like,
thing where you fill in the beeps. Like we'll do something and I'll just launch into a tirade and we'll just let you like put out the beeps and then you can put up the captions for it. Like let it just scream, just.
have you seen? Have you seen? You would probably see it on YouTube or something. Would be a clip, but on Jimmy Kimmel show, they have each week they have bleep and blur the news, and they'll take, I don't know, like 10 random news clips, and they'll bleep out words, and they're not like bad words, but they'll bleep out words to make it sound like they're saying something like, "I ate a hot dog," but it'll say like, "I ate a beep," and then it'll keep talking.
There's
And
a
it's so
poorly
funny.
edited. It's frozen, poorly edited, where they do you want to build a snowman, and but they beep out like certain parts of it, and make it sound so much more hilariously inappropriate. It's worth watching on YouTube.
I feel like I
I'm a
should do
huge
it.
child.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have to get a clip of our stuff, and I'm just gonna bleep you at different words, and we'll just see. We'll see what happens. So we've reached our hour, everybody. We thank you for joining us. As always, every Friday. And if you're listening to this audio version, video version, replays, etc., thank you very much for staying with us to the end. Of course, as always, we would love if you would share our podcast with your friends. So if you could post it up on your social sites, we would greatly appreciate that, because we want more and more people to join us and join the party here, because it's a fun party with all of y'all. And so we want more people to be a part of it, because it's exciting and we love interacting with all of y'all. But I guess with that, we hope all of you have a great weekend. It's been a fun show.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. Come see us on Sunday. We are moving the time back just a little bit as we start to kind of adjust for me being able to sleep at night for my upcoming school days. Cody's like, crap, I forgot about that. And you can follow me at I'm Poetic AF, which, by the way, Clint is straight. And of course, his listeners are very likely very straight people. And when he's like, yeah, Matt, where can they follow you if they want to hear your podcast? And I'm like, I'm Poetic AF. Come hear me talk. I'm like, oh my God, please don't follow me on social media. I was like, I'm going to get you hate mail. I was like, don't engage if you get any. I'm really sorry ahead of time.
That's so funny.
Right. Like, can you imagine? Oh, wow. What a very interesting business concept to listen to from this guy and his gay best friend. Wow. What a team they make. Let me go follow this guy and see what he's like. Oh my God. Jesus
I mean,
Christ.
your Twitter's pretty tame.
Now, well, for you and I, let me tell you, Clint is the only straight guy as far as I know that follows me. And I just think about it like, sometimes I post things and I'm like, sorry, bro. Like, it's like, well, would it be so bad if you couldn't see my likes? But
the likes, that's where it's at. Yeah, I keep
likes
my likes
media
clean.
I did go back and delete my 4th of July picture where which, if you remember my 4th of July picture,
I don't.
Totally bare-assed, ass facing the camera, and I'm wearing socks that say queer on the bottom of them, also facing the camera. And I took several of the pictures. David took several, and then I sat and laid them out and picked out which one I wanted to use. And yeah, I did go back and delete that one anyway, and I thought I had been planning to delete it since I have the alt account, but I was like, I just know somebody's eventually, with Pride coming, somebody's going to go back through my media, find it, repost it, and Clint's going to be like, man, I did not need to see that.
Everybody go through Matt's media. Retweet, quick, save it.
I think I went through and I think I cleared most everything off the main account, which was the point. I actually forgot about it for a long time, because that's what the whole point of the alt account is to kind of separate that.
Mm-hmm.
But because we do this, and I'm aware that sometimes you never know when something we say could be put on BuzzFeed or taken out of or taken in context.
I mean, they're gonna we're going to be posted up on a BuzzFeed article. Then people are going to go to your Twitter and it's just going to be like,
Like, oh my god, like look at them pasty cheeks, and then they're all, you know, trying to, well, we can't take them seriously because they've seen this ass, and I'm like, well, look at that, you probably have no ass or spine based on those comments, so come on. You know, like typically that's what I find when people have to make those comments, like that guy who tried to slut shame me a few years ago. I'm like, girl, please.
Oh goodness, the world is changing in some ways
No,
for the
it's actually,
better.
I think it's still very much the same. It's just social media allows us to see it and it highlights it.
Well, I feel
as much
like
as people that I take classes with and they write their discussions about how they raise their children with them Southern Texas values, and I'm like, but you're white. You don't really know what you're saying, do you? Okay. But yeah,
well,
they love to comment. Go ahead.
Yeah, I feel like social media these days and the way things have changed a little bit allows people, to a point, I think, post risque photos, and I think it's becoming the norm because at a certain point, there's not going to be anybody running for political office who doesn't have a nude photo out there.
Somebody was like, great. What if when you're a nurse, somebody finds one of your nudes? I'm like, they'll be very shocked to find that I have a dick. Wow.
Yeah.
And if they ask me about it, one, that would be inappropriate of them to ask. If they went looking for it, that's their problem. Now, if I were to share that private, which is a locked account, by the way, if I were to share that account with a patient or students or whatever, that would be super inappropriate. And that is not something I would ever do. But if somebody stumbles across my social media and finds it and then tries to use it, like somebody did at Disney several years ago, he found one of my accounts and was showing people my photos, which I was like, okay, I could have you fired for this, so stop. Because I was like 21. I wasn't ashamed of myself, but there's a time and place, and on your shift at Disney is not really the time and place to show your coworkers photo, which is also super inappropriate and not really a good thing to do. But I am not ashamed. Go for it. Shame me.
You can follow me on Instagram, on Twitter at Cody Rodriguez. Also, I'm on TikTok at John Cody Rodriguez, and you can follow me on YouTube at John Cody Rodriguez. And so those are our socials. As always, again, thank everybody for joining us, and we will see you soon. Bye.
Bye. See y'all Sunday.